Well, this sure's flown by, hasn't it? These little snippets from You Were Born for This. I hope your heart was encouraged. I hope your mind has been expanded. But more than anything, I hope that you join with me and many others on this new journey of living a life of miracles, of partnering with heaven as a delivery agent for the people that God wants to reach with a new miracle, a fresh miracle that He needs you to do. Well, as you've heard, I've shared some of the stories that are in the book and many of the stories that weren't in the book. But now it's your turn. We want to hear your stories. I want to read, or I want to see on a video, you telling me the story of how your miracle occurred. You know, you may be sitting there saying, well, it's one thing to read a book, it's another thing to actually go do it. But I want to tell you, we tested this material in 10 different churches before we wrote the book. 5 of them were alpha tests, just getting started, and 5 of them were beta tests. In the last beta test, before we put it in the book, on a Thursday night, just south of the Atlanta airport, with about 70 people, I taught them one of the keys in this book. And I said, now, I have to leave tomorrow morning to fly to Winnipeg, Canada, to speak to a couple thousand men. And while I'm gone, why don't you try this key this weekend? In other words, these keys aren't just to know, or just to read about, or to be encouraged by. They're actually keys you're supposed to have on your key ring. Now you're supposed to use. That miracles will happen. I said, why don't you try it? And I'll be back on Monday night, and I want to ask you guys what happened. Well, I prayed a little bit extra over the weekend that God would intervene and show Himself in amazing ways. And Monday night, I couldn't wait to ask the question. I said, okay, it's about 70 people. I said, how many of you actually tried this and you experienced a real, objective miracle? Not that you thought it was a miracle, but that the person you were helping, they said to you, oh, that was a miracle. That was God. Would you hold your hand up and I'll get some of you to tell your story? So I didn't know what was going to happen at that moment. I remember my heart was pounding a little bit too hard, and they raised their hand, and I counted them in front of everybody. 26 people out of the 70, now get this, had a miracle that they delivered that weekend. And there was applause everywhere. Many of the people come up to me afterwards and said, I can't believe it actually happened. I'd never done a miracle in my life. And then I said, now, how many of you tried and it didn't work? And there were 2 people that raised their hand. I said, is it true that the rest of you didn't try it then? That was true too. But I want you to understand something. Just think about what you just heard. 26 out of 70 people, just like you, took one of the keys and said, okay, God, send me on a miracle mission this weekend, and I want to use this key. And lo and behold, 26 miracles happened. But now I want to hear about your miracles, just like I did that night. It is amazing, the stories that people had to tell. There's nothing like being a part of God's miracle story happening through you. So I want to encourage you to go to our website, www.brucewilkinson.com, or for the story directly, www.youwerebornforthis.com, and go to the section where it says, Share My Miracle. You can either type out your story, or if you can, video it, not a whole 4-hour story, but a short one, and put it up on the website. People are going to want to watch it. People are going to want to read it. And as you'll see on the website, there's going to be some amazing awards we're going to give for the people who had the most meaningful miracles that God did through them. And then, as you can imagine, in a book on this kind of topic, there's lots of questions that people asked in these 10 different locations. We've kept track of many of them, and on the website there's a question and answer section that I'd encourage you to look at after you finish reading the book. Just go, there's all these questions, and I have actually typed down the answer for all the questions that we feel are strategic for you to know the answers for. And if you want some more, if you want to take it another step, we'll be having some You Who Were Born for This conferences across America that we'd encourage you to come participate for a couple of days and learn firsthand how to do this even more effectively than we can in a book. Well, on behalf of Dave and Heather Kopp and the whole Multnomah team, and my wife Darlene and myself and all the people that have been a part of helping us get this point. It's our prayer, after all this work and prayer and testing and refining and editing and editing and editing, that this material has literally changed your life. That when your life is over and you look back over your life, you'd say, you know, there was a number of turning points for me that changed my life from that point forward. It's our prayer that this truth will have been a major turning point. And for those of you who want to take the next step, we'd encourage you to get some small groups going. Talk about the book, do a Bible study, or use the DVD series to just lead a discussion, and then go out during the week between that week and next week and have yourself some miracles and encourage each other the next week. So until the next time we get to meet, remember, you were born for this.